Hey, I'm back. Name's Nathan. This is the podcast I do sometimes when I'm around. Hey, Paul.
Hey, I apologize about that. I don't like doing this without you, but honestly, I just want to keep to a schedule, and schedules weren't, like, mixing, so I just had to pull someone in last minute.
Or there would be nothing at all. So, yeah. Unless I can Skype on my phone.
You can, actually, with Wi-Fi.
Right.
Oh, you could do it with data as well, but I mean,
so
why?
My headset with me and get some Wi-Fi. I don't know.
That might be the worst quality ever, though.
It might be real bad.
Like Wi-Fi on a handset using Bluetooth. Like,
right.
Oh man, that's so bad.
Okay, that probably won't happen then. I'll just, I don't know, maybe be around more.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Okay. It's so much stuff going on. It's crazy. It's weird. And there's going to be more stuff going on. Do you realize like we're within a month of a brand new video game console coming out?
Yeah.
It's weird.
And that month is full of stuff for me, too.
And apparently that same day, James Murphy of LCD Sound System fame is coming through here. So,
great.
But that Sunday is busy. It's going to be crazy. But anyway, we're here to talk about media in general. This is the Pixel Response. Do you mind if I just start with my movie night so I can get some stuff off my brain?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. First of all, I watched Looper again.
Okay.
And have you seen it yet?
No. That, for me, is a Tuesday movie, and I can't find someone to go with me on Tuesdays.
Okay. It's the best movie that came out this year so far. It's awesome. It's so good.
Okay.
Imagine the Terminator that James Cameron made.
Yeah.
Was, like, really, really good. Weird, right?
Well, the original one was okay.
See, yeah, all right, you're an apologist. Okay, that's fair. But like scrubbing away all that, no, I'm just being a bit purposefully attacking that movie. But that movie's old. And
why purposefully though? I'm more interested in that than the
James
attack.
Cameron in general has deteriorated in my estimations over the last, like, let's say 15 years since that boat movie came out, and I like that boat movie. Okay. But I think it's like the world has started praising him too much to the point where now I'm just like, all right, guys, come on, let's chill out. This guy made The Abyss and like Terminator 2. He's kind of goofy.
The Abyss was okay.
The Abyss was okay.
The Abyss feels like it's maybe half an hour too long though.
I own that movie. I haven't watched it in a long time, but
like, why would you? Because remembering back on the cool part, which is the last like hour or so, you don't want to go through the 2 hours before it.
Yeah, I think the cut I have is even longer. So
yeah, like I remember they released a cut on DVD where it's like the original and then like the director's cut and then one with like 50 extra minutes or something.
Just like this was on TV or something. I don't know. We put more stuff in there.
I guess. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, just I don't know. It's one of those, and really, whatever. I just want to talk about Looper for a little bit before I get into the thing that could have led into.
All right.
But I'm trying to think really what to specifically call out on the second viewing. I guess because now, like, being able to watch the second time knowing fully what's happening, it kind of adds an extra layer of, like, character richness to Bruce Willis's character and specifically.
Yeah.
I won't get into why. And it also lets you kind of see now, like, oh, that was some foreshadowing or whatever, like, in some of the dialogue. So it's actually just a really well put together thing. And yeah, there's just a couple sequences I just like, man, that's a really great use of time travel to kind of just...
So, like, watching it again and knowing what happens in the premise and stuff like that, you can see, like, solid things that they did.
Just how solid it is, yeah.
Yeah,
like before,
okay.
It's kind of like, oh man, this went in a really weird direction. I don't know where that came from. But the second time through, it's like, oh no, this all adds up real well. I don't know. I was really impressed by it.
It's always really good when they do that with time travel movies, because if they don't, it just kind of falls apart.
Right, and they, like, specifically I've read Rian Johnson kind of wanted to avoid getting too into the science of it or anything. It's just like, at that point you're making a movie like Primer, which is interesting, but, like, it's not what I wanted to do. Like, he just wanted to, like, be like, look, time travel works, don't worry about it. Let's do...
Yeah, if you're getting into, like, Primer, it's arguably not fun for everybody.
It's like, yeah, that movie's just like a weird thought exercise in how this would actually work.
And you have to be in a mood to watch it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I was really confused by it. I own it, but it's that's that movie not entertaining in the conventional sense, perhaps. Whereas this movie is a great kind of like chase movie thing, and like, but then it also turns into this kind of cool character study thing. Like, because you get two of the same character, so you get to kind of see kind of like if their paths changed, that kind of thing that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like just and like the events that make a person's life and how easily that could go very, very different directions. It kind of thinks about that a lot. It was really neat to see that happen, and yeah, it's just visually really slick considering it's like $40 million movie or whatever, 45 maybe, but like pretty modest budget. And yeah, the performances and stuff are real solid. I don't know, I thought it was fantastic. Let's transition then into the movie everyone's saying is fantastic, Argo.
Okay.
Which, I mean, to be fair, critics did like Looper as well, but the thing that like is extra making this annoying to me is because no one's saying award things about Looper, because it's like a sci-fi movie. It's kind of silly.
Right.
It's one of those science fiction things. Like we'll give it a 9 or an 8 out of 10, but it gets to sit over here in this chair. Meanwhile, this is about like history and stuff in America, so let's give it some Oscars. And that's what really just kind of escalates my disdain for Argo from being like, it's kind of whatever, to what the hell's going on? Why is everyone saying things? Like, it happens every year, it seems to be. Like, the past couple of years, there's always been, like, a movie that comes out that is totally fine. Like, it's not that bad.
What was it, The Artist, last time we talked?
Was one from last year. I also felt similarly about Drive last year.
Yeah, I still haven't seen Drive. Everybody says it's fantastic, except you, but...
It's cool. Like, it's slick and everything, but...
As far as I'm concerned, I don't care, really. Like, I just don't about it.
Like, that's also added by, like, why is everyone saying Ryan Gosling can act? And, like, there's other issues there. But, okay, Argo, I think, has actually more issues the more I think about it. Like, to the point where I'm not convinced it's just that kind of, you know, disproportionate praise. It's also just not a very good movie. Because it's not a very good story, so I don't know why it exists. And that's kind of just been really frustrating to me to see kind of like how much praise and stuff is happening around it when it's just like, this is a boring story. Like, can I go over it briefly?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. Now, this is ostensibly a true story about some minor little, like, well, okay, relatively minor thing that happened in the late 70s involving the CIA. An embassy in Iran gets overrun by a big crowd of dudes. A bunch of people get taken hostage. Just before that happens, though, 6 people kind of sneak out and go off into the city and then hide in the Canadian ambassador's house. Months go by, and then a plan is hatched to kind of sneak them out of Iran in order to kind of just, like, get them out of the, like, via this kind of elaborate, ridiculous farce of a kind of scheme where they pretend to be a Hollywood movie crew, or a Canadian movie crew rather, and pretend they're all Canadian, and then fly them out.
Okay.
Now, since I've seen the movie, like, as I was watching the movie, it's just like, man, this seems like a little ridiculous how many close calls there are, how many, like, oh man, they barely got those files in there before they went to the airport, you know, they barely got their tickets in, so, oh, that was close. And it's just like, it was the 70s. There's no way it was that close. Like, it's not like the internet age where you can, like, text in, like, dude, we need those tickets now. We're on the airport, on the way to the airport, and then they get there. Like, it's just like, that it came down to, like, seconds. No, that couldn't have happened.
Right.
That, like, they're, you know, it's history, so I don't mind spoiling everything, because it's history, so whatever. Like, and guess what? They wouldn't have made this movie if they all got shot. That would have been, I thought that would have been really weird.
Well, they might have.
I guess, but guess what? They get out. It's fine. America.
Yeah.
There's fist bumping in America all over at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there's so many close calls and stuff. Apparently, the actual story, there was not one heroic CIA agent played by Ben Affleck. There was 2 of them. They rolled in there doing their whole, like, fake Hollywood executives thing. No problems. They went to the airport and flew out. Nothing happened. It was just fine. There were no problems at all. But the movie, of course, has to kind of gin up some sort of discord between the group. Like, there's one guy who's just like, man, I don't know, this is so risky, we're probably going to fail. And then, like, that invites Ben Affleck to kind of sit down with them and give them this inspiring little speech about how he'll never leave one man behind and all this junk. And it's just like, there's so many movie moments like that I just was, like, completely taken out of it and was just irritated the whole time. Like, it's just like, this is so fake. This didn't happen. And, like, maybe that's just, like, I've had a steady diet of documentaries and stuff for a while, so it's like, if you're going to tell us a true story, just tell the true story.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like...
Because the true story is always more interesting anyways.
I think so. Like, you know...
Because I think I would rather be, like, a movie that's, like, 2 hours and it, like, goes through the whole setup and everything, then it works out perfectly. You're just like, that was awesome. That was good.
You mean if, like, that's what actually happened?
Like in the movie, if they had made it true to real life, because I think that's a lot more triumphant of a story, that they made a plan and it actually worked out, rather than like oh man.
The tone of the movie, though, because, like, yeah, like, the movie tries to kind of juggle it between, like, really overt drama and, like, some kind of lighthearted comedic shenanigans, like, with Alan Arkin and John Goodman specifically. But they seem to, like, intentionally sap out the fun from that potentially goofy scenario as much as they can. Like, specifically, there's a scene where they're pitching the fake sci-fi movie they're making called Argo.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing, like, a fake table read to kind of gin up some talk about the movie to make it seem more legit. And there's just ridiculous nonsense going on. There's, like, a blue spray-painted Chewbacca outfit, like, bad robot costumes and stuff. There's potential for some silly, like, goofiness about, you know, movie making or whatever.
Like some Ed Wood stuff going on in there, some meta movie stuff.
Yeah, but then, like, this really heavy, overwrought music starts playing, and I'm just like, wait, what are they doing? And then it starts intercutting with what's going on in the embassy, and it's like the remaining hostages getting kind of psychologically tormented or something by the captors and stuff, intercut with this goofy table read, and it's just like, this is kind of ruining both scenes. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is now not funny, and it's too silly to be dramatic, and this also seems over-dramatic and manipulative, because I'm pretty sure most of that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, I was just like, what, this is a waste of potential. Like, yeah, if they had made it, like, again, two agents, have, like, some silly buddy movie, CIA agents, go over there, goofing it up, being big shots, fish out of water in Iran, and then they fly out. You don't win Oscars, but you at least have, like, a sort of true story that's also entertaining. And I might have been better with that. I don't know.
Right.
Ugh. Like, this also led me to just kind of think through, like, are any of my favorite movies dramatizations of real stuff?
Like, probably.
No.
There's probably at least one in there.
I'm going to say no, dude.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to look at my shelf. Did Heat happen? Was that real?
I have no idea.
That was a joke. It obviously didn't, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Deep Rising, the one where there's the giant sea monster, was that... Ha, facetious. No, okay. I don't know. I guess I don't really find that avenue of movie making the most compelling, so I also didn't like it.
Well, the most important question I have for you regarding Argo.
Yeah.
How does Ben Affleck's beard look the whole movie?
It's kind of scruffy, I guess. Like,
okay. It looks pretty good in the trailers.
Oh, okay.
Dude has a pretty good beard.
I guess. It's such a boring performance, though. Like, I'm not to kind of... Like, I like the town.
Has Ben Affleck won an Oscar?
Not for acting, but I think he did win a co-screenwriting one for that Gus Van Sant movie people like a lot, Good Will Hunting.
Oh, that doesn't really count for him.
Doesn't?
I don't think. Like, he hasn't won for, like, directing or anything like that.
Yeah, this new kind of reforged Ben Affleck that came back in 2007 and started directing movies and stuff, that has yet to happen.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I guess, yeah, everyone's really hyping up this one. I would be so disappointed. Like, that's where the kind of extra layer of it comes in. Like, if this beats better movies, such as Looper, or, I don't know, The Cabin in the Woods, which obviously won't be considered at all.
Or Dread.
Or Dread, which would be hilarious.
Dread is amazing. Oh my god.
It's actor Carl Urban. It's just like, his chin, dude. How many other actors didn't use their eyes? Oh, think about that.
Like, but this year? I don't think any.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think in general. I'm sure there's a few. I just can't think of them right now.
Right, but I don't know. Like, yeah, if this manages to fully steal all the thunder from everything else, my only hope is, like, this is kind of early, you know, October. Maybe some better stuff will come out, or, like, some more critically friendly stuff will come out in November and December, and they'll just totally forget about this movie, and it'll be, like, up in the air that one time. Where everyone was super hyped about it for, like, 2 weeks, and it was just like, yeah, I don't know, never mind. We're actually way into this now. I don't even remember what won that year. What was it? Are
people, like, talking about Argo a lot right now? Because I don't hear it on Twitter or anything.
Oh, okay. I kind of like sought out some conversations on Reddit in order to be like, you guys suck. This is not a good movie.
Yeah.
I phrased it slightly better, but I was still pretty angry. So
Okay.
yeah. I don't know. It's like ranked real high on IMDb right now. Rotten Tomatoes, blah, freaking out. 95%, 8.5 average.
Well, we've established that IMDb doesn't mean shit because Space Jam gets a really bad score on there.
I know.
So they don't know what they're talking about. That's fine.
You're right. So
they
maybe
can have fun thinking they know, but we know.
Maybe I'm stressing out unjustifiably. Like maybe something obviously will.
And you've been kind of blowing up on Twitter about it. It's really funny.
Like, I think it's just because like every time I see someone say something about it, I just like I realize I haven't been able to vent about it yet, so I just get kind of like, no, what are you saying? So this is a little bit of the leftover steam from those explosions. So yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to just think what else to really say. Like, I don't know. People are kind of calling out some performances and stuff too, like Arkin and John Goodman. Like they kind of just play themselves.
Okay.
Really, like I mean, John Goodman is likable, and Alan Arkin is kind of bitchy.
Okay.
Like, that's his thing. Like he's the crabby old man. That's what he does. And John Goodman's the lovable man, like the big guy that's in Hollywood signing those deals. So I mean, I like those dudes, but this isn't a stretch at all. Affleck's super boring. I don't really know, like the actual dudes playing the 6 who were kidnapped or whatever, like the 6 people trying to escape.
Yeah.
Kind of doing imitations, I guess. Like they do. I haven't seen this in a while. Like at the end of the movie, they do kind of like a picture of the actor playing them and a picture of the person they played, and it's just like, yeah, the makeup department did a good job. You know, like nailed the haircut, awesome. Like the wardrobe people, I guess they made it look like the 70s. So if that's things we can praise about the movie, but
okay.
I still just don't find the story interesting. Okay, that's one other thing. And probably the most serious thing, really, is like going into this movie, I was a little worried about it in general, just because it's like, okay, this is a story set in Iran. America is in this weird kind of tense situation with Iran right now for reasons I can't fully articulate because they're nonsense.
Yeah.
Is this movie gonna kind of try to address that? Like, is that why this movie's getting some talk? Because it's like, hey, let's find an earlier Iran-America story and focus on the good stuff or something. They super simplify, like, every Iranian person in that movie to just a scary face in a crowd.
Well, they kind of did that with all the Vietnam movies during that era, too.
Well, yeah, but this is a time where I wish someone was actually probing how America deals with foreign policy or something. Like, it's more just like...
Dude, an American will not do that.
I guess.
Like an American filmmaker, you're better off asking anyone else in the world to do that.
I suppose. I was hoping that was kind of what I wanted, and yeah, they totally just kind of... There's one Iranian character who kind of isn't scary.
Okay.
But hers is just kind of like a weird subplot that they do bother to tie up for some reason, but it doesn't really... I don't know, it seems a little hollow or something. Like, I guess you could read some implications in there, like, as to, like, oh, see, the story isn't over. You know, like, you think it's over. But, like, for me, a movie that did that kind of well was Charlie Wilson's War, which kind of, like just focuses on how America dealt with the situation, and they think they're heroes, but you get the sense that they're not heroes.
Right.
Whereas this is just like, no, America, like the CIA, we were really the heroes. Like, we actually back then said it was Canada who were the heroes, but they actually didn't do as much as we said back then because the files have been opened up now. Like, maybe that also stuck with me a little bit because it's just like, our Canadian ambassador looked after them for like 3 months, and then you guys finally showed up and did this thing. And apparently that was another kind of liberty that was taken with this movie, because apparently the Canadians actually helped hatch that scheme as well. So it wasn't like they kind of really de-emphasize our involvement in some places, which I was like, this is kind of weird.
That doesn't sound like something the Americans would do.
See, because they always do that. Yeah,
pretty much.
I mean, it was kind of neat to see Canadian anything in a movie, maybe, but I don't know. I don't need peanuts like that.
This is like the whole what is that now? Newsroom thing all over again with you.
Yeah. which was ironically, like me praising Charlie Wilson's War, despite not being 100% certain whether or not that was intentional now, because Aaron Sorkin writes the newsroom.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one thing. And yeah, like, I was checking on Rotten Tomatoes, like, there's like a handful of critics saying similar things, like 9 people didn't like it. And the ones that are saying kind of political stuff about it are just getting, like, shouted at by Rotten Tomatoes commentators. It's just like, oh, just enjoy the movie for the being a movie, man. Don't try to make it political. Just enjoy it.
That doesn't sound like the internet. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, if this snowball continues to grow, I'm going to continue to get angrier at Argo.
Okay.
It is, like, like, if I was to score it, it's like a 5, maybe. I went with 4 because of, I don't know, I think, I went with 4 because IMDb on my phone remembers the last stuff I rated, and Ted was there as a 5, and I was like, you know what, I had more fun with Ted. Scroll down 4.
Okay.
So, Ted, better movie than Argo, Joel McHale, best supporting actor, that would make more sense to me. Then.
See, in my mind, I've always thought that you've been too generous too, so it's probably more like a 3.
Maybe.
Because I think you're always 1 point above of what you actually want to say when you talk about stuff. Because you'll talk about something in a certain way, and then you'll say a number like 6, and you obviously meant like a 2 or a 3. I think you're a little disingenuous to yourself sometimes.
Right, I'm not using the full scale, but there is a scene where Ben Affleck's sitting there and he turns and watches Battle for the Planet of the Apes for a while, and then goes, yeah. So that probably boosted its score a little bit.
By like 2 points?
By 2 points, yeah. I was just like, man, what a weird movie to call out.
Damn, it's a good scene.
Yeah. No, I don't know. There's also a bunch of Star Wars figures and stuff on a shelf later. I was like, I have that one. That's great. So, I don't think that was actually...
So Ben Affleck, not completely evil.
Not completely evil. Just kind of irresponsible, and maybe not all that.
Maybe a little miseducated?
Yeah, miseducated. I don't know if that's a word, but...
It is now. You heard it first on the pitch response.
Linguistics. You can just coin words. So
they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, you just gin them up, and then if they stick, there you go. But yeah, so that was my film-going stuff this week. Yeah, what's going on in your neck of the woods?
I've been playing a shitload of Castlevania.
Like all of them?
I've been playing a bunch of them. I played Castlevania Chronicles for a while, which is the first one redone that they did.
Oh, okay. Does it make it more of an exploration-based one, like kind of like the later ones, or?
No, it's the first game redone.
Okay, it's just touched up graphically and stuff.
Yeah, and I think music too. It was what they released on the PlayStation when they wanted to cash in on the money that Castlevania had after Symphony of the Night came out. So, or maybe it came out before Symphony of the Night in preparation. I don't know. So I was playing a bit of that. We're doing a podcast with John now on the site called Retro Kill Screen, and we're doing a game club type thing.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna play a game and get audience people or listeners or whoever to play as well, and then send in questions, comments, or whatever they thought about the game. And I chose Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse because it's been sitting on my shelf for a couple months now untouched, and I've been wanting to play it again. I haven't played it since I was a kid, and I've never beaten it. So this was a good excuse to do that. So I've been playing a bit of that, and dude, it's pretty hard. I forgot how hard some of those jumps are.
I don't know if I really ever spent much... that's all on NES, right?
Yeah, well, and I've also been playing Portrait of Ruin on my DS because Road Trip.
That one I dug, and I did play through that, but... It's
good. It's not bad. I'm not a big fan of what they did to Castlevania after Symphony of the Night and cashed in more on the RPG element. I really liked the just going through and killing stuff and that sort of thing. The RPG and leveling up and using magic and stuff like that, I'm not a huge fan of.
Oh, whereas that's where I felt the series had depth, and I was like, oh, now there's something to do. Because I played Castlevania 4 on the Wii shop or whatever. I just bought that because I was like, I like Castlevania.
Super Castlevania 4, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just like, wait, what the hell? This is just a side-scroller.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And it's the best because it actually gives you some challenge and victory. So.
Nah, you gotta level up, dude. You gotta get those points.
No, because then it feels so shallow because you get to the point where you can kill everything with one hit, and you're like, why am I even playing this anymore?
Because you're beefing up. You get power. The son, dude. Spoilers.
What's that?
I don't know.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
Alucard, isn't he like his kid or something?
That's right.
You should be mad powerful. So, you are.
Yeah, maybe like in lore or something. When it comes to an actual game, it's not fun to just be able to kill everything. That's boring.
I guess. I don't know. I mostly like exploring and listening to those hot jams.
Yeah, the music in the game has always been good, though. So, yeah. I'm a big fan of that. And it's Halloween month and stuff like that, so you know, that.
Yeah. Horror themes. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I've never really gone back to the first handful of games. Like, maybe they're cool. Do you know if, like, Dracula X or whatever, is that the same structure?
Dracula X, that's Rondo of Blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's
the old style.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're cool. I just don't know.
I'm pretty sure Dracula X was the sequel to Super Castlevania 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they kept with that sort of thing. They didn't do the RPG thing until Symphony.
Okay. And yeah, it's kind of... I'm trying to think. It might have actually been Circle of the Moon or something where I got on board and then heard there were older ones that did that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, cool. And then, yeah, that's where I kind of...
The big problem I'm having with the DS ones is that they're all, like, essentially the exact same game.
They throw a different magic gimmick in it or something.
That's pretty much it. Like, but for the most part, it's like a different named character and the same game, and that's a little weird, but I mean, whatever. It's not a huge deal.
Ecclesia, I think, is the one I didn't play because I kind of got tired of them. Between Dawn of Sorrow and Portrait, I was like, yeah, I got my handheld Castlevania fix. I'm good.
Yeah, because if I remember, Dawn of Sorrow had the one where you would, like, gain abilities by killing a certain amount of each monster.
I forget. I think...
Like, you would kill, like, a whole bunch of guys that, like, threw, like, those boomerang swords or something like that, and then, like, you would have that if you wanted to equip it after killing a whole bunch of them. Like, you would learn it.
I don't think you necessarily had to kill a whole bunch of them, but there's a chance of a drop of that ability or something. So you end up kind of spamming the same. It's like, I want that big giant sword, so I'm going to keep exiting and entering here again and fighting this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did some of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like loot collecting.
Yeah.
They substituted challenge with loot collecting. So
yeah.
If that's not your thing, yeah, I guess they're kind of shallow.
Yeah.
I only really play them one time, too, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Sure. I don't know. I haven't really given much thought to
because now that you're thinking about it, you're like, you're right. I totally wouldn't go back to those games I've played already.
Yeah.
So maybe they are not that fun.
I have the soundtrack CD, so really, if I'm ever like, man, I want to hear some of that, I can just pump that, and then I'm good. Get my fix that way.
Yep.
Play a racing game or something while I'm listening to the Circle of the Moon tracks. But yeah.
I've never played that one.
It's okay. It was like an early GBA game, though, so it looks a little funky.
Yeah.
But it's decent.
Yeah. And I was going to play some Simon's Quest, but I just haven't. I probably won't.
That was supposed to be bad?
It's bad in the same way that Legend of Zelda 2 was bad.
I'm trying to think. Like, does that game not direct you where to go very well?
What, Legend of Zelda?
Yeah.
It does a lot better job than Simon's Quest does, that's for sure. But it had the same problems where there was a lot of things that you would need a guide or like a friend that has done it somehow before to like help you.
That's the main thing, yeah. But specifically in Simon's Quest, I've just heard like there's no logic to some of the solutions. It's just like you gotta hit this wall at this specific time and then it'll open.
I think the one you're thinking of specifically is you have to go to a certain wall that's just a dead end, and you have to kneel down for 5 seconds with a red gem equipped so a tornado can throw you into another part.
Why would that... Yeah, what... Does anyone tell you that is the case?
Like, the people in town, some of them do tell you stuff. Like, I think one person is, like, kneel before, like, the wall of God or something. Like, it's very cryptic.
Right, and there's no context.
There's no context for how they're saying it, but there's also people in town that are just like, if you boil leads in soup, it's delicious. Like, they just tell you worthless things.
Right, so you're kind of inclined to discard all of their stuff as, oh, crazy nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was just one of those games.
Great.
It like, in that respect, it is a lot like Legend of Zelda, where like someone important would say something cryptic, but like once you like figured out what they're talking about, you're like, okay, I have to do this. But then you have the guy that's like, I am error.
Mm-hmm.
Or like that old lady that's like, let's live here together, or something like that. Like, there's just weird things like that.
I think I am error had context though. Like, someone tells you to go to Error's house at some point, and there's something in his fireplace or something.
Was it Errors though?
I don't know. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I haven't played that game in a while.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Best Legend of Zelda.
Okay, Best Legend of Zelda, Adventure of Link. What's Best Castlevania then?
I'm quite fond, personally, of the first one just because of nostalgia.
Okay.
The best one, I mean, will probably undoubtedly be Symphony of the Night, because they polished up a lot of stuff with it and made it really playable.
Mm-hmm.
For like the retro stuff, I would say best is probably, though, like technically on every level, Super Castlevania 4, because you had the 8-way whip control and the like 3D backgrounds that they tried to accomplish, or they somewhat accomplished with using nothing but their NES or SNES stuff and all that.
Okay.
Because there's like one level specifically everybody remembers where like the whole level is rotating. Like, you're on platforms, and then like the way the level looks with like the mode 7 effects or whatever, the whole level is constantly rotating like you're in a giant tube or something.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty good, especially for that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, have you been playing anything?
Speaking of video games, yeah, there's only one I really found interesting enough to call out, and we're right on the verge of Hotline Miami coming out, so I just want to mention it.
Okay.
Dude named Jonathan Soderstrom.
Yep. Cactus.
Online handle Cactus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I played a game called Keyboard Drumset Fucking Werewolf.
Okay, I don't know anything about this game.
Yeah, it is basically an interactive music video with like WarioWare style mini games in it.
Oh, so it's up your alley for sure.
It's like 3 minutes long, and it's weird. So I was.
So when you were talking about Argo, I could have played it a few times.
I guess, yeah. Well, except I didn't do very well at the last mini game for quite a while, so I failed a bunch. So I probably ended up actually spending like an hour with it or something.
Okay.
So I heard the same song a lot, but it just had such a cool sense of style and variety to its gameplay, which I found really nice. Like, it was like, imagine WarioWare minigames tried to kind of be coherent and have an arc to them.
Okay.
So like, all of these center around a werewolf story, but you're just kind of like, yeah, you're basically playing a Ice Climbers type game. You're mashing some buttons to transform. You're running and avoiding barrels and all this stuff. Like, it's throwing different stuff at you, but it's the story of this werewolf freaking out and doing weird stuff. And to this music, I guess. I'm not sure if really the lyrics have anything to do with what the werewolf's doing. That wouldn't really make sense, but I don't know. It was kind of an interesting little thing. And yeah, just that dude's sense of style was so kind of apparent in that game. I'm actually really looking forward to Hotline Miami, which comes out tomorrow.
Right.
Which is, I guess, kind of like a really challenging top-down shooter thing, but like with limited ammo and weapons and everything. Like, it sounds potentially really, really cool. So I'll give some thoughts on that once I've spent some time with it. But It's getting some decent buzz around the internet. At least the corners of the internet I like spending time in.
Right.
But yeah.
I emailed that guy, so hopefully we'll be able to talk to him.
I'm thinking a lot of people might be wanting to talk to him soon, but we'll see. Yeah, that dude seems interesting. He's from Sweden? I'll say.
What?
Is he from Sweden?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Soderstrom. There's like some umlaut some things in his name, but I couldn't type those.
Yeah, no, he's definitely from Sweden. I can't remember where, though.
Yeah. I guess away from that, back to the world of, I don't know, filmed media. Walking Dead is starting up again?
Yep.
You guys talked about that a lot last week, though, right?
Like, kind of.
Okay.
We said some spoilers that happened in it at the end-ish. You know what I'm talking about, obviously. And that turned into a talk about character development, feminism, politics. Like, it just kind of went everywhere.
Okay.
So...
Walking Dead touched on a lot of serious subjects, so...
Well, because I was saying how I am a big fan. Like, I'm not going to go over the whole diatribe again. If anybody wanted to listen to it, it's last week's episode. I guess that would be episode 48. So go ahead and listen to that if you want to. I'm a big fan of where they're going with a lot of characters, and I kind of broke down with each character, like, what I'm looking forward to with them. Mm-hmm. Not specifically, like, their story arc, but, like, why I'm excited to see what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I guess if you had any specific questions about that, I could reiterate for you, since I don't think you were able to listen to it yet, so.
I don't know, not exactly. Like, I'm mostly thinking of kind of weird logical errors that me and some friends had issue with in terms of...
Okay, let's talk about that. We didn't get on any of that last time.
Right. Like, it's just like, on some level, like, I get it, because it's a show, so you want to keep the action moving or whatever, but, like...
Okay, I have a question for you that Panic actually asked me last time.
Okay.
How did you feel about the pacing of this episode?
Fast?
How did you feel about it? Not what was it?
Oh, okay. Fast to the point of absurdity?
Okay.
Maybe?
I agreed. I said that I didn't like it, especially coming off of season 2, where I felt that they really took their time with each character and stuff, so when the payoff happened around the end, it really felt like something important and special, and this felt like he even admitted it felt like it catered more to his crowd, where he gets bored of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I'm wondering if that's kind of, like, I want to see how the rest of the season handles it, because, like, the first scene, it's kind of them as, like, a tight crew, they've got it figured out, they know how to kill zombies now, and they're
that
just
first scene is the most powerful scene in that whole episode.
Like that they're kind of now together as a group. Kind
the
of thing.
Fact that there's no talking and they're just like doing their thing, including Carl and stuff, like it really shows growth with all the characters in that time that we've been away.
Or whatever too, yeah. So I didn't mind that, and then I kind of viewed the episode kind of trying to intentionally keep up that pace, and then they run into a weird obstacle at the end that could potentially throw them off.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how episode 2, like if they keep going at this breakneck pace and kind of glossing over a lot of stuff, then that would kind of suck. But I'm hoping that was just like, it's the premiere, we want to keep things going, but also we want to kind of like be like, no, they got it together, oh wait, more problems or something, and then it'll kind of break down and everyone will kind of wonder what to do or whatever. So I don't know.
Or maybe it's that, like, since they were surviving out in the wild for so long during the winter or whatever and trying to keep alive, they kind of gained that whole, like, teamwork thing and just knowing what they're going to do, and that's why they were moving fast. Now that they have, like, a false sense of security in a prison, they're slowing down a bit, which, I mean, obviously the consequences are obvious at the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just based on that. I guess transparency, we're recording this 2 or 3 days before you'll hear it, so we just haven't had the time to watch episode 2 yet. That's why we're not talking about it.
Yeah, it was just happened last night, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I guess specifically in terms of the pacing or whatever and the way that played out, like, just from a practical survival standpoint, if you have a giant chain link fence separating you from all the zombies, why would you not just lure them over to you and stab them in the face? Then you're not wasting ammo, you're not making noise, and you're safe.
Oh, when they were taking the yard?
Yeah.
Specifically because someone had to go to the other end of the yard and lock that gate so, like, zombies weren't continually just coming, because, like, it was already time, like, starting to turn dark. So, like, they needed a place to camp out for that night, so they needed to make sure that they were in a safe area.
No. When they clear the first yard, they handle that actually okay. I meant, like, when they were going up to the gate, but I guess that because like, in a sense, they don't want the gate open because then they have to deal with continual zombies coming in.
Exactly. Yeah,
You just don't want to close it, but I don't know. It still felt like it was like action over logic at some point, to the point where I was like, what? I wouldn't do that. So I'm annoyed now with these characters, but whatever. And then, yeah, a certain lack of caution leads to consequences that...
Well, then, and the thing is, with Lori being pregnant, like, Rick specifically is under stress to get, like, medical supplies, because you don't know when this baby's gonna pop out, or, like, what's gonna happen. So, like, the fact that
far along?
Yeah, I think she's, like, 9 months.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's one of the big things, that they found a safe place that she could have the baby, and they could just, like, relax for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so,
yeah.
like, certain urgency is meant to be there.
Yeah, and I think, like, even in that episode, it showed that Rick would have liked to have kept going that night. Mm-hmm. But, like, they all wanted to rest and stuff. Because, like, I mean, I gotta say that it probably wouldn't be easy killing a whole bunch of zombies. Like, you would probably be physically really exhausted. Because you're using hand-to-hand weapons. You have to push them off you, and you have to, like, move them around afterwards to, like, get them out of your way and stuff like that.
It's like an intense game of football.
Yeah, so, like, I'm pretty sure they get really tired, but, like, the urgency there that he had, I think, was specifically to get to the warden's office to see what supplies they could scrounge for. Like, specifically food as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
I guess that works.
Yeah, I saw it more as an act of urgency to, like, get to a place where they could relax for a bit, more so than just, like, stubbornness or, like, hard-headedness about it.
Mm-hmm. I guess briefly, like, I did get some positive kind of John Carpenter vibes from just the action and the setting and how they were handling it and whatever. And, like, some weird, goofy, gimmicky stuff, like, you peel off a zombie's helmet and his face comes with it.
Yeah.
That was a nice little gross-out gag thing
that
I was, oh, dude, that's so gross!
Yeah.
So, yeah, it had me entertained, for sure.
And the zombies in full SWAT gear, like, it was good.
Like, that could happen, dude.
It could. It totally could. Because when the outbreak was happening, you can bet that they all the people that could geared up in SWAT gear because there was going to be a riot.
Mm-hmm.
So, like...
And you turn anyway, so now you're a zombie with all that stuff on.
Right, exactly.
Or a walker, rather.
A walker. A Zed.
A Zed. Yeah. So, it's still solid. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Violent and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of The Walking Dead, the premiere issue of the magazine was an exclusive at the Edmonton Expo. Did you get your copy?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
But we were both at said expo.
We were both at the Edmonton Expo.
2012.
12.
There was comics and entertainment.
That place sucked.
Alright, so...
I'm going to let you talk.
Well, this is where we take a bit of a different thing, and I actually want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you think the terrible drive up caused any kind of negative atmosphere in your brain that could have contributed?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, okay. Because, like, do you want to talk about that or not really?
No, I don't.
Okay, can I say just for context or no?
I prefer not.
Okay. Never mind. But...
Just because I know certain people listening to this, and I don't want them contacting me about it.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
My family, and I think Aaron's family listens to it.
Oh, okay.
And we're keeping that under wraps for unnecessary pressure on them, because I know that they like feel pressure when we're not doing 100%.
Oh, okay. I hope we're talking about the same thing, but anyway. Whatever. That was just a theory, because you seem to be having a really bad time, and I
Okay, no, okay, fine. We got pulled over and we got a ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the thing that happened, and Mom and Dad, if you're listening, we're fine. It's just shitty. We're financially set. Don't worry about us.
Okay. Whereas I was just like, man, that sucks. Maybe that really cast a cloud over this whole weekend.
No, more than anything, I was pissed off that night because, like, it was after work and we were tired and we just wanted to get home. So like after a good night of sleep, it was fine. We didn't even think about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I guess in terms of the expo itself, like all right. It was 2 days. It was the first one. I guess that's important to mention too. It's the first time Edmonton's ever hosted an expo of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
It's mid-October. It was kind of cold, so that.
October is a weird time to hold it, anyways. But yeah.
Yeah. Like with all those factors in mind, I thought it was pretty successful.
Okay.
Like there was a certain lack of peripheral activities that seemed obvious to me.
Well, what I was saying is that there was a lack of personality.
Right, but I'm not sure what you like. Like, what do you mean? Like, is there a distinct Calgary personality at all?
No, Calgary kind of feels the same way. Basically, it's paying money to go to a place to buy shit. Great.
I guess, but that's kind of okay. So, like, that's what differentiates it from PAX or something, where that's not what's happening at all.
Well, the thing with like PAX, like even E3 for a different extent, because it's media people and like. Marketing. It's a marketing thing, right?
Yeah.
But like PAX specifically, it's like you pay to basically hang out with a bunch of people and do cool shit while you're there. Here, like these things, it's literally paying to like buy stuff from vendors because they don't put anything on.
Well, they don't put. Yeah, like I mean, the only thing they put on was like a pretty limited selection of panels. Which I ended up going to several of.
And that's where the first year thing is, like, really was evident for me, is that there was no panels I gave two shits about.
Okay. Whereas, there was, like, the BioWare stuff, which I was genuinely kind of curious about, but...
See, I would have liked to just stand there and talk with them, rather than go to a panel.
Well, their booth kind of invited that. At the end of every panel I saw them host, they said, hey, yo, if your questions didn't get answered, just come down to the booth. Talk to us there.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do that. That said, though, every time I did go by the booth, it was like swamped with people there for handouts or something.
Yeah.
And the other time, it was for Mark Hamill autographs or whatever.
Yeah.
Voice of Male Shepherd, I guess.
Who wasn't on the voice acting panel?
He was definitely not listed in our pamphlet, but I was wondering if he was a late addition or something. That pamphlet was way out of date with who was actually there. Which was also a bit of a problem.
I think they had his picture in it still, though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, either way doesn't matter. He might have had a prior engagement, and that was the only slot they could get for the voice acting, so that might have happened too. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. The voice acting one was apparently primarily writers and stuff. That was one I inadvertently missed, so I saw 3 out of 4 of the BioWare panels.
Yeah, you texted me asking me if I'm going to it 40 minutes into it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in line right now, dude. And it's like, what? No, you're not. Oh, yeah, I was apparently Misha Collins of Supernatural fame, I guess.
Never seen it. I heard it's good, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to think really what else like, in a sense, it was just a thematic flea market, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a good chunk of it, which I was actually fine with, because I acquired a bunch of NES games and stuff I was into.
Yeah.
Like, what did I pick up? I got Mickey Mouse Capade.
Mm-hmm.
Which is apparently the first game Capcom and Nintendo teamed up on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it was actually developed by someone else, so it might not quite have all the qualities you get from the later stuff that people really like.
Was it just published by Capcom then?
DuckTales and stuff. I think so, but
okay.
I read briefly on it. If I got the one I wanted, apparently there's 2 games. There's Mickey Mouse Capade and Mickey Mouse Capades, which is different.
Oh.
Mickey Mouse Capade, which is what this sticker says and everything, apparently has like weird mashups of other Disney stuff in it.
Right.
So I was kind of looking at it as like, this is where Kingdom Hearts comes from, because Mickey Mouse has to rescue Alice from Alice in Wonderland from Maleficent. Like, it was just weird.
Oh, weird. Okay.
It was really strange. So I was kind of into that. It was like $5. I got Popeye, which I just like. That I think I might have talked about it after our Pincade episode.
I think so. Yeah.
That was one of my standouts.
Either way, I think there's video on the site and on YouTube
of Popeye, maybe a little bit. I got Mickey's Magical Quest, which I seem to recall being pretty awesome.
Arguably the best Mickey game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember it being real good.
Mm-hmm.
And some sort of Go-Go 13 secret episode thing, which I found out was actually not rare at all, but whatever.
98 cents.
98 cents. So I paid $4.02 more than it was worth, but
Right.
whatever.
It happens.
And I got Manhunt 2, which
I
did? Realized never came out on PC.
Okay.
So PS2 is kind of the best way to get it, apparently. I think it's the most violent version too, right?
Ours? Yeah, probably. That's the one that was banned in like Australia and stuff, not 1.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be AO. Like there was a whole kind of like media storm around this game, despite it kind of fading after a while. But like it was like, dude, this game's going to be AO, so they had to push it, and then they edited a bunch of stuff out, which I thought was kind of too bad. Like I would have preferred Rockstar just be like, no, I guess we made the first AAA AO game, coming soon to PC, unrated. Like they didn't do that. They decided to take the easy route and cut some stuff, which I'm curious what that looks like. I don't know. They do some neat stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was it for game acquisitions. But I don't know. I kind of had fun shopping around. And in terms of the actual panels, like, yeah, BioWare talked some Dragon Age 3, which I don't really care about, but it was more just kind of interesting to hear them kind of respond to fan feedback from 2, because I remember a lot of people didn't like 2.
Yeah.
So they were like...
2's bad.
Yeah, they're like, we're not going to do the one city thing. That was our choice, though, but I guess people didn't like it, so we're going to go to different cities.
Yeah, it was a really bad choice.
Yeah, I guess they're still limiting... I didn't know they did this at all in subsequent Dragon Age anything, because in the first one you can choose all sorts of different races and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess in the third one you have to be a human.
They did that the same as in 2.
Yeah. I don't know why they made, like, maybe it's just easier to account for those variables or something.
It's probably because it's easier and cheaper now that EA owns it. They don't give a shit about quality anymore.
Alright, I kind of wish you went to the BioWare panels, because I got a certain kind of, like, they seem genuine. They're not, like, puppets, is the perception I got. Like, there's people there. Specifically, like, the how to get into the industry one, like, I ended up just going to that because it was the only thing going on right at the beginning. And some of them had actual interesting thoughts. Like, Neil Thompson, I think, is one of their artists. He actually had some cool thoughts about media and, like, how to, like, you have to pull from a variety of sources and stuff, and his things and whatever. Like, there was some good talk there. The Mass Effect one was mostly a Q&A and like a lot of kind of just softball questions or whatever.
Oh, really? Like, what did people ask?
Well, it's just fans. So it's just like, what's your favorite character? What's the zaniest glitch you saw? You know?
Like, I'm trying to think of something I would ask, and I don't even know, so that's fine.
I asked if they were involved in the local independent scene at all, and doesn't sound like it really.
At the Mass Effect panel?
Well, like, if BioWare employees kind of are just involved in the scene in general. Like,
okay.
They get anything out of that. And I guess it sounded like, I guess Patrick, I can't remember his last name. He's one of the lead writer guys.
Isn't that like Carpishian or something?
No, that's Drew.
That's Drew, yeah.
I don't think he works there anymore.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah. Anyway, one of the writers, he was talking about how they are involved in some local kind of programs for younger people at like the cultural center or museum or something. Like there was some sort of game program thing they did.
Okay.
That they were helping out on, which sounded kind of cool, but I don't know.
Did anybody ask about the thoughts BioWare had with the doctors leaving?
No one really asked about the CEO change. I guess I could have been that guy, but I didn't do that. They came up in conversation, like, as, like, you know, in the how to get into video games, like handing in your application accidentally directly to Greg or something, like little stories like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely had fond things to say about them, but yeah, no one really addressed the fact that they were no longer there. So yeah.
That's too bad. I would have liked to hear their opinions on that, but anything they would have said about that there would have been PR nightmare stuff. So like that's something you would almost rather just like meet up with one of them in a bar.
I guess, yeah. I wasn't sure if there's any kind of after party anything going on. We kind of left right away, but yeah.
Yeah, like in my defense, Saturday you guys left before I did, so like you have to agree there was nothing to do there.
Yeah, I mean, after our last panel I was even vaguely interested in was over, it's like, do you want to shop some more or just kind of go? and we ended up going to West Ed and meeting up with some people for like a really good chicken burger. So
Yeah.
it was worth it.
That Canada cosplay booth, man, creepy stuff.
Canada cosplay. Oh, like the dancing girl?
The girl in like a tube
Basically
top,
a
basically.
bunny kind of thing.
Yeah, she's like in like spandex tights, like for pants or whatever, and like a tube top type thing.
I thought she had ears on too.
And she had like bunny ears on, and she was jumping around while a bunch of like fat, angry nerds just like were sitting there, like
not
watching
literally
her.
sitting, just kind of stopping and being like, "All right, cool."
Yeah,
they were
before they
style.
go on with their menial lives.
Man, just bitter, so much bitter. I don't know. I generally like just being at a convention.
That thing bothers me though. The whole like disgusting cosplay thing bothers me. That's why I'm bitter about that. Just the weird, overt sexuality.
Sexy bunnies, dude.
Okay, yeah, all right. I didn't know you were furry too.
I don't know, dude. I that's not what that is. That would require.
You said a sexy bunny.
Sexy bunnies. Dude, Playboy has been marketing sexy bunnies for like 60 years.
I know, that shit's ridiculous too.
Oh, okay. Alright. I don't know. Just conventions.
Conventions.
Oh, I guess briefly, there was the Brony panel.
Yeah, how was that?
That ended up being kind of a sort of a rehash of some of the stuff from the Calgary one.
To be fair, this was the Calgary Expo in Edmonton.
There was a lot of, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that dude didn't have, like, time to plan a whole different panel.
Well, it wasn't that dude. That was kind of the weird part. Like,
oh.
Yeah, like, there was some stuff where it's just, like, you know, last-minute replacements in a bunch of things, and you'd think, like, that makes sense to some degree when it's, like, some television star or whatever. Like, Sean Mayer couldn't make it, so Dual State came instead.
Yeah.
I cast Switch.
And Adam West broke his back because he's taking the part of Batman way too seriously.
Yeah, he was fighting some guy. I don't know. This is not true. I actually don't know how he got hurt, but he was.
It was in a rock climbing accident.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah.
They substituted Julie Newmar.
Yeah, the Catwoman.
Also was a last-minute addition from that era of television. So yeah. But yeah, Mark Nguyen, who is a super enthusiastic fan of My Little Pony, who did a really enjoyable PowerPoint thing at the Calgary one. Yeah, he was listed on there, and then it was not him. It was like a kind of much more mild-mannered dude named Nathan, which was weird. It was not
weird.
me.
Really like great name.
Yeah. It was okay, but it ended up being kind of like a weird AA panel or something, like almost. It's
You're like, just like, hi, I'm Nathan Rohr, and I'm a brony.
And I'm a brony. I got into the show from this. Like, there's still this weird sense of shame around it for some reason.
There should be.
It's a really good show, though, Paul. I don't know. Like, I'm personally over all of that, and I don't really get defensive. Like, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never had to. Like, no one's actually getting angry. That's why I'm still kind of. I'm not convinced anyone actually finds it that weird, because culture is just really weird right now. So no one cares. That's my experience. Like, it's like I can wear whatever, and no one's really gonna do anything, especially at a convention. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was a little kind of just weirded out by how kind of awkward a lot of that was, but it was okay. I mean, it's just people having fun talking about the show and stuff. But I don't know. It was not. I don't know what it was for, really. It was a weird thing.
It just seemed kind of pointless.
Kinda.
So it really like echoed the whole feel of the show then.
You know, it's kind of.
I'm sorry. I know I'm painting you kind of into a corner. I am a little bitter about it, and I think the thing is, I feel like they could have learned a lot from what they've been doing with Calgary and like expanded on that. But this literally felt like the Calgary Expo on a smaller scale from this year.
I did like the building it was in, I will say. Like, they seemed to herd people pretty well for that space.
I really wish they had, like, rented out a few more rooms or something and done something with them, though, because that place seemed empty. Like, that place is huge.
Yeah, that place is really big. So, okay, I guess my one issue, like, I wish, if we have, like, constructive feedback to give, that would be fine. But, like, I generally found, like, enough minor things to do that I was okay with spending 2 days there. And I did buy some stuff, and I, like, some people I knew were there or whatever. It was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, there should have been more peripheral stuff. Like, there should have been a tabletop area, for example.
Well, there was a whole area that, like, you were eating in when we met up the first time there. Like, it was empty. We could have easily just, like, wrote on a piece of paper, tabletop area, and I bet people would have sat down and started playing.
Yeah, they kind of just didn't provide the sense that there was much to do beyond shopping. Like, you're right in that respect. Like, the only thing they really provided for us was shopping and some panels. And then anything else that's going on is just the product of having a bunch of nerds together. So you're just like, oh, look, it's a samurai Hello Kitty. That's great. I'm going to get a photo of that. Oh, look, a dude who's dressed as Bane decided to just recite the entire monologue of Bane's speech. Okay.
There was like 3 Banes.
Yeah. But this dude was just quoting dialogue and ripping up Harvey Dent's picture and stuff, which was kind of funny.
That's pretty good. There was a Slender Man leaving his pictures around.
Yeah, I saw Slender there. I was happy to see that.
You didn't see any of his pictures, though, huh?
No, I guess not.
should have. The one I found, I should have taken and, like, looked around for more.
Right.
Because I wonder what he would have said if I was just like, yo, found these. I think you dropped these.
Right. I did try to do, like, a video where I come around a corner and then see him and go, oh! But there was a lot of people surrounding him. Yeah. So, at that point, I was like, I'm just going to turn off.
It was at the point, like, if you wanted to do that, you probably could have just went up and said, like, yo, I just want to shoot a quick, funny video. Are you down for, like, a minute?
Right.
He would have totally been like, yeah, sure, and then, like, go to that eating area and, like, just, like, look over and go, oh, fuck, or whatever, and then, like...
And turn and see him and go, oh, and then turn and he's a little bit closer, and that's your video.
Yeah, and then in After Effects, like, make it all staticky.
Sure, something.
That would have actually been pretty good.
Yeah, I did not take advantage. But, like, yeah, you kind of had to make your own fun with nerds at some point with some of that stuff.
And so you know what? I am okay with that if they didn't charge you money for it. That's the only thing that gets me, is that you have to pay to be part of something that they don't give you anything to do.
Well, yeah, like, I'm trying to, like the vendors are paying them to have the space and everything.
Yeah.
But, like, so, like, us funding the vendors directly isn't really helping the convention. Right? And they still did have to fly some people out and whatever, it's just we didn't care about those people.
Right.
So, that, like, yeah, I guess the expense would have gone to that and, like, having staff there and whatever, but, yeah, we didn't really get to take advantage of that.
And I mean to rent the whole place.
How much was the Calgary convention? Because this one was, like, $27.50 for the 2-day pass.
Calgary, I think, for 2 days was 35 or 40.
Okay. And there's definitely much... But, like, it's, what, 7th year or something? 5th year?
Yeah, something. I don't remember.
Right. Like, there was a bit of a summary of this one, and I guess relative to the first Calgary one, it was pretty successful. Like, but it has all that momentum to build off of, right?
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, 12,000 people for this weekend.
That's not bad.
Edmonton Expo for a debut thing.
That isn't bad.
And yeah, in summary, I had some fun. There was some cool stuff I got to buy and whatever. Definitely a lack of, like, activities, which was too bad. So, easy stuff to fix, though.
That's like, the thing. Yeah. Like, it's so easy to just set up, like we were saying, tabletop, or, like, even set up a room with a couple TVs and, like, get one of the, like, vendors or whatever that wants some free publicity to put some of their machines in there and get, like, one of their employees to just watch over it so no one steals shit. And you have a console free play room, too. Like, it's just such easy things you could do.
I guess maybe we should just provide that feedback directly to the convention people.
You know what? We should just fucking do it. I'm sick of talking to people and nothing getting done. Next time, we just bring stuff and set up. Fuck that shit.
I think we need to coordinate with them somewhat, but yeah. Are you just suggesting find an outlet and plug in a TV?
Well, I mean the tabletop thing specifically, because we could just bring a bag full of games to Calgary. Mm-hmm. And, like, find a place to just sit and, like, put a little sign up on a piece of cardboard.
Yeah. Like, it would have been nice to have some more kind of community-oriented stuff like that. But, like, the other stuff, like, more interesting panels, better guest list, like, that's just stuff that comes with time.
That's stuff that I don't think they could help because, like, we were talking about a little bit and you were saying that...
your first convention, so...
Yeah, so, like, when they're just like, hey, Adam West, you want to come to Edmonton? He's like, I have nothing else to do, why not? But then maybe you ask, like, Freddy Krueger, and he's like, what the fuck's Edmonton? Or,
like, oh, it's north of Calgary? Dude, I barely went to that one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the only reason I went to Calgary is because you've been doing it for 5 years, and it's grown, like, it's doubled every single time. So, of course, I'm going to go to that one. Edmonton, you don't even know if 5 people will show up, so no.
Right. Now, though, like...
Or you know what? It might have even been financial. They're like, we spent a lot of money on Calgary. We only have this to work with. Let's see who we can get on the cheap.
Right. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a little bit bitter about it, I guess. The thing is, I expected more.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas I kind of always keep my expectations kind of low.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, this is about right. This is okay.
I expected more because I've seen that they can do it, or like that they have the potential. Because every year they've been growing.
No problems, am I right?
Huh?
At least there was no fire marshal business.
Well, I mean, they didn't have the amount of people, so of course there wasn't.
Oh, so you're saying next year, even with that space shut down?
If the way they did it, yeah, absolutely, because it was still... They didn't utilize the whole space. They only used one of the exhibition halls or whatever. So, like, if they did that and they got, like, a whole bunch of people, then absolutely, they would have been shut down.
They also just had weird issues with the line. Like, for the first day, it was like the exit was also the entrance on the side I came
They fixed that pretty quick, though.
And then day 2, they had a split, so there was 1 and 1. But then they were also just like checking for stamps both ways, so it was still slow. So it was causing some weird bottlenecks that didn't seem necessary. But yeah, and then also just having one of the panel rooms outside of the circle of ropes or whatever that are contained within the convention.
Yeah.
So like, they also had to check you at the door there instead of just being like, you're already here. You're obviously supposed to be here.
They did check a bunch of times, like, outside of the ropes or whatever to get in, there was people. Then inside the ropes, there was people checking. Then there was people checking as you were going into the exhibition hall. And, like, I think somebody even, like, checked when I was leaving it. Like, it's stupid. There was so many people checking to see if you should be there. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything really else to touch on. I don't know. It wasn't that bad. I think you had a worse experience. Maybe you should have gone to more panels. Seen BioWare.
Why though?
Because you like Dragon Age.
Yeah. But I also wasn't gonna wake up at 9 in the morning for a shitty expo. Like, I kind of didn't care at all.
It was at 11, but
yeah, but I still had to drive in.
Oh, okay, yeah, we took transit.
Yeah.
Which exits right there. But okay. No fate but what you make.
Yep.
So, I don't know. That's kind of all I got. What is that it?
Yeah, that's it. So if you want to reach us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/thepixelresponse. Email address is podcast@pixel-response.com. On Twitter, it's pixel_response. On Stitcher, just look up Pixel Response. We're on there. And as always, pixel-response.com for more.
Alright, and a fun note to end on, that Michael Fassbender Assassin's Creed thing, it's actually going to happen.
Is it really?
Yeah, apparently they partnered with New Regency, so that deal's moving forward.
Sweet.
So get ready for some movies that may or may not be good. Based on games that aren't. Oh, ending.
Agreed. Bye.